G'day guys and gal. When I say the word Halo, what do you think of? Angels? Hell no. We're nerds, not Bible-humping pedos. You would think of the Master Chief, or maybe a big-ass circular super weapon that a bunch of space Bible-humping pedos think is a sacred cock ring. Yeah, it's been a while since I played Halo, so my knowledge of the lore is a bit sketchy. You probably wouldn't think of the horrifying outer rim of the galaxy, full of dark matter and unknown Xenos, but in 40k, that is exactly what it is. If it's sounding similar to the Ghoul Stars, that's because the Ghoul Stars are a section of the Halo Stars, but they only make up like 1/4 of it. That means there are around 3 more quarters of horrifying shit. Fortunately, we haven't been exposed to much of it, because whenever people try to explore them, they usually die horribly. But not always. You know those Halo devices that turn people into flesh-eating cannibals? They're from the Halo Stars, baby. A quick note, you guys and gal are legends. The channel is growing at an obscene rate, and we're poised to take over the arch enemy within a few weeks. So let's dig in and go even harder. If you laugh, smile, learn something new, or you're just keen to play Halo Infinite when it drops, then slap that juicy button. I've got a fun video planned for when we overtake the old mate that is sure to ruffle some feathers. Today we'll talk about the Halo Stars and what resides in them. We'll go over the 4 sections of this dark galactic rim before talking about the times that people have tried to penetrate its void. Let's get into it. Halo Stars exist in real life as well, with the main difference being that our Halo Stars don't contain Lovecraftian monsters capable of destroying civilizations. Or maybe we do, who knows. In 40k, they form a ring around the Milky Way, which is designed to keep things in more than it's designed to keep things out. Flying through the Halo Stars isn't a huge deal. It's when you try and explore planets and shit that stuff goes sideways. That's why the Tyranids can fly through most of the Halo Star regions in our galaxy without too much drama. Each section of the Halo Stars offers its own fun little surprises. We've already covered the Ghoul Stars in another video, as this section of the Halo Stars is the most well known and explored, and holy shit, it is spooky. Galactic plagues and cosmic hentai looking monsters have known to emerge from here, requiring extreme levels of effort and a lot of heresy on the Imperium's part to contain. The Necrons here are also all flayed ones. The one Tyranid hive fleet that flew through here went insane, and there is an entire chapter of pretty emo looking marines who exist purely to watch over the Ghoul Stars for signs of another apocalypse. So naturally, the Black Templars decided to crusade it. These fucking guys, I swear. They actually did a really good job. Like sure, physics didn't seem to apply, and sure, planets were able to randomly regenerate from getting Exterminatus, but boy oh boy did they crusade it. The Ghoul Stars, despite their danger, are actually quite explorable and easy to navigate, you know, compared to the rest of the Halo Stars. It'd be like being in an obstacle course where you can see the finish line, but the course is full of barbed wire, landmines, and rapists. On the contrary to the Ghoul Stars, the Veiled region, which are another quarter of the Halo Stars, is actually not too bad. Like sure, the Astronomicon doesn't reach there, but at the moment it doesn't reach half the fucking galaxy, so you can barely complain about that. There are Necrons chilling there, but they're not the flayed spooky types, so it's not a huge deal. There are also numerous human and Xeno settlements that live in this region of space, and rogue traders will often dip into it for a bit and then get the fuck out. The Veiled region was where the Soul Drinkers ran off to when the Imperium threw the book at them, and they survived. Kind of. Coincidentally, a Mechanicus Explorator fleet also explored the Veil region at the same time as the Soul Drinkers, and other than having to fight Necrons, didn't encounter anything too mind-blowing or terrifying. Another quarter of the Halo Stars is the Eastern Fringe, which is the only sensible and non-spooky name we've seen so far, probably because it's a pretty sensible and non-spooky region of space. The Eastern Fringe gets reasonably good Astronomicon coverage and is home to the Ultramarines, the Tau, and you guessed it, some Necrons. It's like all the physical laws and common sense was drained from the other 3 quarters of the Halo Stars and all dumped into the Eastern Fringe. And finally, the final quarter of the main topic of today's video, the Halo Star quarter of the Halo Stars. Yeah, it's a little confusing. The Halo Stars encompass the entire galaxy, but there is one quarter which is just called the Halo Stars. I'ma just say the word Halo in a weird voice when I'm referring to the Halo Stars of the Halo Stars to make it easier to follow. Make sense? No? Well, sounds like a you problem, not a me problem. The Halo Stars are creepy as shit and very unexplored. They have like a natural keep out vibe, which steers pretty much everyone clear of it. As such, unlike the Ghoul Stars section, this one is super unexplored and mostly devoid of life, up until very recently in the lore. What we do know is that there was once, or maybe still is, a super advanced civilization that lived there, the creators of the Halo device. On very rare occasions, brave or stupid explorers will encounter an abandoned Xeno world in the Halo Stars. Here they might find strange, beautiful devices, often looking like jewelry, that seem completely untouched by the degradation of time and neglect that its surroundings have endured. These are Halo devices, and holy shit, they are not a good idea to touch. If you pick up a Halo device and put it on, or put it in your pocket, or if you're a weirdo, just stab it into your flesh, it will begin to bond with you. This can take days, or if you're one of those weirdos, a few hours. Once the device is bonded with you, that's it. You are dunzos. Only way to remove it after that bonding period is to be violently killed, which becomes super difficult because you turn into a fucking raid boss. At first it's good, you become youthful, energetic, really smart, and you can fuck like a rabbit on Viagra. Basically a superhuman without having to get the snip or developing severe autism. After a few years, some side effects will become apparent. Dopamine will be suppressed, and sleeping will become difficult. Mood swings get bad, and your mental state begins to deteriorate whilst your physical abilities continue to grow. After a few more years, you enter into a secondary phase, where the cons really start to outweigh the pros. You can no longer sleep, you're monstrously powerful and durable, the Halo device is absorbed into your flesh almost completely, and your insanity becomes apparent. Around this time is when Halo device users also develop a taste for human flesh. You are basically Dracula at this point. Your mind begins to turn alien and it receives visions of alien shit whilst your own old memories fade. You can still kinda hide what's going on here, but yeah, not looking too hot. And finally, the third and final phase, the Teteradary phase, I don't know how the fuck you say that, which occurs a few decades later. By this phase, you are a complete monster and you look horrifying. You can't remember your own name, but you can speak in lost Xeno languages, so you know, that's pretty neat. You are nearly unkillable, and you're built like a demon, with claws and an exoskeleton and other cooked shit. You can even come back from the dead. Some even say that any who wield a Halo device into the Teteradary phase are completely invulnerable. The Inquisition would beg to differ, and have killed numerous Teteradary phase Halo device wielders. It's really amazing how quickly the term invulnerable loses its weight when you throw a motherfucker at the sun. All in all, a pretty shitty trade-off, but I'm a massive fan of how a Halo device has no connection to chaos. Xeno corruption's really cool to see in Warhammer lore, and it helps shake up the game beyond "give me your soul and I'll give you 3 cocks," you know? But yeah, it is confusing as to why people seek out these devices. You only get to enjoy the cool youthful part for like 5 years before everything goes to shit, and whilst you do become immortal, it's not really you anymore by the 30-year mark. The only people who get Halo devices are super rich, well-connected people who know of their existence and can fund the expeditions to go get them, but surely these people aren't that dumb. It might have something to do with the fact that like 1 in 10 Halo devices don't come with all the negative shit side effects, but those odds aren't good enough for me. There is more in the Halo Stars than the Halo devices. In the Calyx sector of the Halo Stars lies the Cronos Expanse, which is a new untouched cluster of systems. Strangely enough, the Cronos Expanse is actually quite livable, with a number of new Imperial worlds popping up there. This is helped by the fact that there is a shitload of natural resources and wealth to be found. It's really hard to get to though, like it's completely surrounded by warp storms and may as well be a pocket dimension with how cut off it is from everything. It does seem though that the colonization of the Cronos Expanse is the Imperium's first proper attempt at conquering the Halo Stars. Probably won't go well for them, but I'm keen to see them try. Also, I love spooky unknown Xenos, and if they're gonna pop up, it's gonna be there. That is not to say that the Imperium hasn't tried to conquer the Halo Stars before. Lord Solar Macarius, aka Space Alexander the Great, gave it a red hot go. When old mate Macarius launched a crusade so legendary that it would make a Primarch moist, he conquered thousands of new worlds for the Imperium in only a few short years. The crusade didn't end because they were beaten or chaos had to be dealt with. The crusade ended because there was nothing left to conquer. They had reached the edge of the Segmentus Pacificus, and any further voyaging would put them in the Halo stars, and not the nice ones. But you better believe our boy Macarius didn't give a fuck. He went hard and fast, and he penetrated those fucking stars. He was ready to keep on penetrating, but his fleet was not. They were like, bruh, it's so dark, we can't even see the Astronomicon. Plus, it's spooky. And Macarius was like, stop being a pussy, onwards. But even the threat of being known as a pussy wasn't great enough, and the commanders begged Macarius to stop, and they even thought about assassinating him if needed. Macarius eventually agreed, and he took the fleet back to Imperial space, but he was pretty salty about it. The existence of the Halo stars provides so much potential narrative and new threats for the setting. The Rungdun could be hiding and rebuilding their strength there. The old ones might be watching and subtly altering the course of the galaxy from there. Cthulhu lookalikes might be hatching their own plans. The possibilities are endless. I also want to note quickly that I love how most of the Exodite worlds are in the Halo stars. Well, like in the Eastern Fringe Halo stars, which aren't that shitty. They're like, fuck this galaxy, fuck the Imperium, fuck chaos, I want to ride dinosaurs and smash magic mushrooms in peace. I reckon there's a bit of Exodite in all of us. If you enjoyed the video and you want to support the channel, then Patreon is the place to be. Only $1 per month give you access to a boatload of battle mace hentai. Hit the subscribe button, then hit the real subscribe button for more Halo content. Join the Discord for more memes, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.